Alright, there are a couple of things I want to address before I start this off. First off, I do not advocate the capture or the drive hunts of cetaceans. They're terrible, and there's really no humane way to capture a cetacean unless it's beached and you're trying to take it in for rehabilitation. That's really the only exception. The other thing is that I'm not completely for cetaceans in captivity. If there existed some alternate route to where we did not have cetaceans in captivity, I think, things would be better off, but things just didn't happen that way. And now we have a lot of individuals who were born into captivity, and there are some individuals that were captures, but a lot of the population now was born into it. As far as dolphins go, I can't say the same for orcas. There are companies trying to get orcas from Russia, but as far as dolphins go, a lot of them are born captive. In the U.S., that is. For other places, it's a bit different. Now, for the documentary Blackfish, I think there's one thing that just rubs me the wrong way about it, and that's the fact that it feels like it's if Jaws was a documentary for sharks, that's what it feels like to me because they're saying that these animals are killers, yet saying they're also intelligent. And early in the film, there's this guy who says he goes out to see the orcas in Washington, but he wouldn't dare get out the boat, and that just confuses me. And there's also the other problem of exploiting Don Branshaw's death for profit, really, because this was everywhere. This documentary was in theaters. It was on CNN. I'm sure the documentary makers made a lot of money off of this. And there was one of the trainers who commented saying, "How dare you blame this on Dawn?" As far as like a mistake that she made. And I was thinking back to when Steve Irwin died, and that Steve Irwin, people were saying that Steve Irwin would have said that he made a mistake when he was out there with that stingray, and he wasn't paying closely attention. And animals can be unpredictable. Um, there are things that you cannot predict. As far as how the film is put together, it is put together pretty well, but there are some inaccuracies. I saw that they were showing a certain orca when they were talking about Tilikum that was not Tilikum. I think there was also near the end where they actually showed, I think they actually showed Keiko. I'm not sure if I'm right on that or not. Somebody can probably confirm it. But there are some things that are inaccurate in the film. But they don't really talk about things that are happening now. They did talk about things like taking the orcas to Loro Parque in the Canary Islands, which I definitely don't agree with them going over there. And then there's the things of separating the calves from the mothers. I'm not sure how long they keep them with each other, but they do separate them and give them to different parks, and I don't agree with that either. Despite my last video, I'm not completely pro SeaWorld. There are some decisions that they make that I really don't like. But as far as releasing orcas and dolphins, mainly the orcas, I'm not sure how well that's going to work out if they were to ever do that. Mainly because of the case with Keiko when he was released in a sea pen, and then he died of pneumonia. Um, and then it's trying to find a pod that will accept the orcas. Is just a big mess of what could happen. But then if they stay in captivity, they might not survive long. If they stay on the wild, they might not survive long due to the fact they've been in captivity for so long. So it's really a lose-lose. There's no way to win at this. I mentioned I saw the Cove in my last video, and I definitely do not advocate drive hunts. Those are very, very terrible. And like any of the parks that get dolphins from those places are pretty unethical. Very, very unethical. But I know that SeaWorld doesn't get animals from there. Uh, Unless some new information has come to light, I can't really say anything on the issue besides, that the U.S. does not capture wild cetaceans. They haven't for a couple decades, I believe. Unless is something that has arisen, I don't think they have. If something has happened, let me know. And make sure it's accurate information, because I know there is a lot of misinformation out there. If you can tell, this is something that I really don't like talking about. But people have asked me to talk about Blackfish and orcas in captivity, and you know, there are some orcas that I really got attached to when I was living out in California. And I don't know much about Tilikum. I don't know anything about the orcas at Orlando or San Antonio, but I do about San Diego, because I visited there a lot. And there's one there that I really became attached to, which was Corky 2. And she's the oldest living orca in captivity. Would I like to see her set free? Probably. But there's problems with that. She has cataracts in both her eyes. I'm not sure if any pod would accept her. Like I said in my last video, I'm not up to speed of the cetaceans and the individuals that I used to go see at the parks. And I think the problem with this film is that it treats, it treats Tilikum as an individual, but it also treats all other orcas as the same, which is, it contradicts itself. It's weird. I'm not really sure what else to say about it. Like I said, you'd probably notice that I don't really like talking about it. And like I said, Corky 2 was one that I was really close to over at San Diego that I went to visit a lot. And I actually have this little plush here that I bought one night when my mom went out to dinner with my stepdad, and they dropped me off at SeaWorld, and I went there down to the underwater viewing and sat this on my lap, and then watched Corky come up and just stare at it. And she likes to do that with the plushies. She doesn't just do it with me, she does it with everybody. And you can look into her eye, and I just don't know what she's thinking about. They've got big brains, but I don't know what they're thinking about. I don't think anybody can know what they're thinking about. They don't know what they're, whether they're thinking about what it used to be like, or what it's going to be like. Because their environment does change when they move other orcas. So, like I said, I'm not completely pro SeaWorld. There definitely needs to be some changes. I'm not sure if there's going to be coming soon or not. But that's all I really want to say about the documentary. I think the documentary does tend to skew things a little bit, and that it's more money grabbing than it is informative, because like I said, it was a big production and shown on CNN and everything, but despite its message, SeaWorld is in record attendance, so it didn't really accomplish anything. Anyway, I told you about Corky because I'm going to show you a little video of when I went there, and I filmed her a little bit, so enjoy that.
Look at that. Corky's all the way upside down.
She's turning Corky. And she is our oldest and our largest. She is approximately 45 and she weighs just about 8 pounds. And she actually wasn't for us. Reland.
Let me see you. Thanks. Okay, now stand over there. I'll get your picture.
There she goes. Shame on you, you lost her.
What? She's gonna breathe.